Welcome to the Health Daily Show, your go-to where leaders, founders, and investors share insights on growth, innovation, and business building. I'm Chitra Nabat, your host. Joining us today is Michael Montello, GSK SVP R&D Digital and Technology. Michael, welcome. Thank you for joining us.
It's great to be here today. Thanks for inviting me.
Michael, GSK is one of the top 10 pharmaceutical companies in the world with about $36 billion in revenue. Its therapeutic areas of strength are infectious diseases, HIV, respiratory, immunology, and oncology. Take us into these areas of focus and growth.
That's a great place to start. Yeah, so at GSK, we're focused on uniting science, technology, and talent to get ahead of disease together. And that essentially powers everything that moves us forward. And my particular role is supporting our research and development teams. Everything from finding better targets, which are the starting points of new transformational medicines and vaccines, to helping to design medicines and design vaccines before they enter the clinic, so building better translational models, to helping to accelerate development, as well as accelerating submissions and drug approvals throughout the world. So within R&D, digital and tech, we're powering everything in every step of the R&D process to help increase our pipeline value.
So a couple of words there that you use which are critical: transformation and acceleration, which every pharmaceutical company needs. For you, where is GSK using technology as a differentiator in its strategy?
Yeah, so there's many places that we use technology across all the value chain, whether it's R&D, manufacturing, or commercial. But I wanted to amplify one big investment that we're making, which is the Onyx Research Data Platform. And this is a data platform that is helping to scale AI in the areas of drug discovery. And we hit a huge milestone. This year we announced that we're going to hire 100 talented technology leaders to join this organization to help us organize and make data available on a cloud platform in order to help supercharge our AI team that's using AI to essentially find the starting points of medicines and vaccines, which is essentially novel biology, and using data sources like genetics and genomics, as well as our understanding of disease, in combination with AI to help move the pipeline forward.
Can you bring it to life for us a little bit more in terms of this platform, how it works, and the specific types of AI that GSK is using at scale?
Yeah, so there's maybe two high-level examples that are interesting to share. So one is our pipeline is genetically inspired, so we link the medicines that we're developing to underlying genetics. And that takes many different types of dimensions of data. So there's imaging data, there's messenger or RNA data as an example, DNA type data. So you have both structured and unstructured data and imaging. And these tools of AI help us find patterns in the starting points. So that's one example. So if we can pick better targets, they're more likely to succeed when they enter the clinic. So they're twice as likely to succeed. And another use case is using AI to find patients that will respond the most to medicines and vaccines using additional data sources, so data that we can gather from real-world evidence or real-world data and link it to other data to help us find the best responders. So what we enter the clinic is just more likely to succeed.
Any examples that you can share to quantify? Because in pharmaceuticals, there's this constant race. There's this race to accelerate clinical trials, drug discovery, the commercialization process. So examples in terms of the impact of AI at GSK in each of those areas?
I'll give another example. So in development, so development is where we plan and run clinical studies. So another large investment, and this started about 3 years ago, was building a standard platform across all GSK clinical studies, whether it's researching for a vaccine or researching for a medicine, to have one standard way of doing it, one platform. And this year, that initiative completed, that technology completed, and we're achieving upper quartile cycle times when it comes to phase 3 studies. So that's benchmarked against industry benchmarks. and also saving about 20 million pounds per year. So these technologies are having real impacts, both in terms of speed, but also in terms of the cost it takes to run clinical studies. And what's also interesting about it, now that we've created a standard platform for running clinical studies, which essentially creates evidence and data, we can now leverage that data to plan the next study and just get smarter at our decision making. So essentially more things are achieving a higher probability of success as we start the next study.
What's coming next? There's a lot of talk right now about generative AI, and frankly, generative AI is not anything net new. So what's next for you in terms of where you're venturing, where you're experimenting in implementation?
Yeah, so generative AI is new this year, I think, to a lot of us, that as OpenAI and Microsoft and Google and others have released large language models and capability to use these generative approaches to either generate text or generate images. And these tools are promising. They definitely are going to help us a lot, definitely with mundane type activities that we can automate, and we can focus more on the science. So I'm pretty excited about these new technologies. We also have to balance the benefit as well as the making sure we're doing things extremely responsibly. So we have an enterprise AI governance council that will be taking a look at these use cases before we scale them to many users. So I'm pretty excited about generative AI. So we have teams that are proving its value before we scale. So we're working on it today. And just in general, I'm also pretty excited about being able to break down silos with new technology when it comes to reusing data across research and development. So we have a strategy of uniting and linking our data that's all built on our Onyx research data platform that I mentioned below. So it's not AI per se, but you don't have AI without data. So it's very important to me to provide the most highest quality data in the most secure way to our AI machine learning engineers that are building these models.
This word you use, quality. We're here at the health conference surrounded by thousands of startups that believe that they have technologies that can be helpful to you. Where are you looking for quality startups to partner with? Any specific areas? And what's the criteria they have to fulfill to do business with you?
Yeah, let me start with the criteria, because that's really important. And the main criteria is to understand our priorities. So the way that we prioritize is all based on value, whether that is some of the things I talked about, so increasing the probability of the success before we start to run clinical studies, or to help us accelerate clinical studies. And a lot of that has to do with enrollment. So if we can find patients that meet the inclusion and exclusion criteria and enroll them faster into the trials, that's another problem we're trying to solve. And at the health conference, there's a lot of startups and other companies that are also here that can have tools and have data sets that could potentially help us in those two areas. So understanding our priorities, have conversations with us. We actually have a booth here in our digital health and innovation team. So we're here to engage and connect and learn. And I think there's a lot of opportunities to learn from startups. So it's a two-way conversation. So we have a priority and what we're trying to achieve, but the startup has very creative, innovative thinking. And we're very open to having these conversations.
Mike, leadership. In career, life, business, there are rules, codes, norms to how things are done. Where have you been a code breaker, and how did you do it?
Okay, this is a great question. And I'm an engineer. So I started my career programming and architecting and building large-scale systems for research and development. And what I learned probably midway through my career, it's less about the tech and it's most about the people. Whether it's the people that kind of work in your organization or the users of the technology, whether they're patients and healthcare professionals or scientists or the clinicians that work within our organization, 70% of digital is actually getting people to adopt new ways of working and new technology and these AI models that are outputting a decision. Of course, there will be a human in the loop that takes the decision and decides what to finally do next. And that was a huge pivot point to me. So I follow things that are not probably traditional techie per se. So I follow Brene Brown and Simon Sinek and these brilliant people leaders that can inspire and can help motivate. So that's a big part of what I do, what inspires my leadership. And that pivot of leadership happens midway through my career. And yeah, I think about it, every step of the way. The tech and the engineering keeps me motivated, but also on the other side of the tech is a person. And what kind of skills and what kind of experience are we creating with this technology and just helping people along so they can adopt these great technologies that are going to help us.
Mike, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.